occupied, off-limits, or cursed. Forbidden Islands. Source, ID, The Travel. By visualgk.com. The number of islands on Earth is so big, that no one knows for sure exactly how many are there. Some of them, such as Greenland, Borneo, and Madagascar, are huge. Others are tiny. Just enough room Island, for example, which spans 3,300 square feet, is the world's smallest inhabited island. It lies in the St. Lawrence River, on the New York side of the US-Canadian border. Out of the world's innumerable islands, only around 11,000 are actually inhabited. Clipperton Island. This island was named after John Clipperton, a pirate, who made the 2.3 square mile atoll his 18th-century hideout. By 1917, a lighthouse keeper Victoriano Alvarez was the last adult male on the island. He proclaimed himself king over the remaining 15 women and children, initiating a reign of torture that only ended when one of his subjects killed him. Under the authority of France today, Clipperton has now been dropped from the list of inhabited islands. Tikopia Island. Tikopia lies at the eastern edge of the Solomon Islands, and it is perhaps the most remote of them all. Over the centuries, the population of Tikopia mostly hovered around 1,200. Given its size of just 1.9 square miles, and reliance on its own production of food, population control has been a very big issue. Family planning is extremely strict. Only the eldest son of each family is allowed to father children, and parents become celibate as soon as the eldest son is old enough to marry. FARALLON Islands. A member of a 1603 Spanish expedition gave the islands their name, writing of seeing 7 farallones close together, farallon being the Spanish word for cliff. The U.S. Atomic Energy Commission had used the islands as a dumping ground for radioactive waste till 1970s, depositing almost 50,000 steel drums of hazardous material there. It is believed that removing the waste would create an even greater hazard, and so the Farallon Islands remain closed to the public. Ramree Island. Allied troops landed on Ramree in January of 1945, to free it from the Japanese, who had occupied the island, just off the western coast of Burma. The Allies encircled them in a mangrove swamp, infested with giant salties, or saltwater crocodiles. Witnesses such as the British soldier Bruce Stanley Wright, later described, rifle shots were punctured by the screams of wounded men, crushed in the jaws of huge reptiles. Though historians dispute this story. Sable Island. It lies like a narrow crescent, around 120 miles from the eastern coast of Canada. The highest point of this 26-mile-long island is no more than 90 feet above the water, and the cool, wet climate turns the strip of land into a lurking phantom, almost invisible, for about 130 days of the year. Over the past 400 years, an estimated 350 vessels have run aground on Sable Island's sandbanks, and more than 10,000 sailors have perished in the unforgiving waves. This has earned Sable Island the nickname, Graveyard of the Atlantic. GRUINARD Island. Outraged by the Nazi bombing of British cities, British Prime Minister Churchill was ready to drop anthrax bombs on major German cities. British scientists had already tested the deadly potential of anthrax on GRUINARD, a small island off the coast of Scotland. There a herd of test sheep died within 3 days, and the island would remain uninhabitable until an enormous decontamination effort in the late 1980s. There are suspicions that spores are still present in GRUINARD soil. Diego Garcia. Diego Garcia Island is the largest land mass in the Chagos archipelago. It totals only 10 square miles of dry land, but it has great geopolitical importance. It lies in the middle of the Indian Ocean, only 1,100 miles from India, 2,200 miles from Africa, and around 3,000 miles from Australia. Britain controls it as a British Indian Ocean territory, and has signed an agreement with the US to allow defensive use of the island until 2036. The population was forcibly resettled, so that a military facility could be constructed. Ostrov. The name derives from the Slavic word ostrov, meaning island. Ostrov's modern history began in 1933, when the German armed forces bought Ostrov to build an anti-aircraft school. It was occupied by the Soviet Army in 1945, and remained in Russian military hands until 1993. The departing soldiers had failed to clear away unexploded munitions, so the job was left to the German government. Residents hoping to return were told that environmental damage from military occupation have left much of Ostrov uninhabitable. Island. Snake Island is an island off the coast of Brazil, in the Atlantic Ocean. Sometimes described as the world's deadliest island, it is the only home of the highly lethal Bothrops insularis vipers, commonly known as golden lanceheads. These are one of the world's deadliest and, at the same time, most endangered snakes. While golden lancehead has no ground-level predators to fear, it also has no ground-level prey. Since the golden lancehead preys on birds, it has evolved to produce an incredibly deadly venom. Circe. Created in November 1963 by an underwater volcano, 32 kilometers south of Iceland, Circe is named after Surtur, a fire giant in Norse mythology. It provided geologists with their first opportunity to see the creation of an island in real time. Today erosion has reduced its surface area to half a square mile, but the island is expected to remain there for a long time to come. Since 2008, Circe has been a UNESCO World Heritage Site because of its great scientific value. Please like, share and subscribe. visualgk.com